In this video, my guest is Bradley Sutton from Helium 10, and he will show us how you can research for Amazon product ideas using different tools like Pinterest integration inside Helium 10, also using Alibaba pages, or how to think outside the box and find new ideas. And if you want to try Helium 10 for yourself, don't forget to check the link below and coupon codes in the description. Hello, Bradley. It's nice to have you again on our channel. So today we'll be talking about product research in new year in 2023 using Blackbox, Cerebro, Magnet tools of Helium 10. And very short, in 10-20 words, could you introduce yourself and let's just dive into the content.
Yeah, my name is Bradley, Director of Training at Helium 10, Chief Evangelist. Been in the space for a while now, and whether I work at Helium 10 or not, this is enjoyable for me to do because Amazon never ceases to amaze me as far as how fun it is to kind of navigate. And so this is hopefully some of this fun can rub off. And I think the primary goal for people out there is to make money, but also you guys should have some fun while you're making money.
So yeah, let's prepare the audience that we will be using Helium 10 or software. The links to Helium 10 you will find below in the description. Also, two type of coupon codes. With one, you can get 10% off monthly, lifetime, or 20% with another coupon for 6 months. So check out the links below. And now, yeah, let's start.
All right. So, the question, I'm sure you hear a lot, 2023 and even last year before, more and more people, sometimes try and say that, oh, you can't, or it's too late to find products to sell on Amazon, or it's too difficult. And my argument is, are things more competitive? Of course, but at the same time, there's still tons and tons of opportunity. You just have to think outside of the box of your maybe usual strategies. And so the strategies I'm going to show today are not the only way to find product on Amazon. It's not like if you don't use this, it's the wrong way, but it's just some of the many different ways. And so it's important that when people are first tackling product research and potentially keyword research too, is that you have to kind of understand the purpose behind it. And what you're doing is you're trying to find opportunity or signs of opportunity. And the way that you can do that is there always has to be demand first. All right. So that's what, especially for those of you who are newer to Amazon, you have to understand that you have to have existing demand on Amazon. And then what you're looking for is indications that of like what I like to call underperforming competition. All right. You can find demand anywhere, like you can just, without knowing any search volume or anything, you just know what is the newest, iPhone that's on the market, or a Samsung Galaxy or something. Right. And then you can pretty much know that, hey, if I enter that word iPhone 13, iPhone 14 plus phone case, there's probably going to be demand for it because, millions of people have the phone and they all need phone cases. But demand by itself doesn't mean opportunity. As a matter of fact, iPhone cases probably is one of the worst things to do because there's so many people that are selling the same thing. And so there's too much competition for things. So how do you find something that has demand, but at the same time, there are signs that the competition is either not that much or they're not doing that well? So let's just talk about a couple of the ways. And we'll start right off the bat with something completely off the wall. All right. I like doing non-traditional forms first. So I'm going to share my screen here and I'm going to show you guys. I'm actually in Blackbox, but I'm going to switch. We're going to go backwards. So Augustus, like when somebody has found a product and now they're searching for a supplier, like what's one of the most popular websites to find a supplier?
Well, Alibaba.
All right. So why don't you just give me a random product? Like it could be anything. It could have competition, could have no competition, doesn't matter. Just let's fast forward and pretend that we found a product and that we're searching for it on Alibaba. Can you just give me a random one to do?
Let's say coffee mug.
Okay, coffee mug. Let's go with that. All right. So I'm on Alibaba. And I want to show you guys, once you actually have a product, like the product research doesn't stop there. Like even this is a way to search for opportunity, for future opportunity. All right. So let's say we were, looking on oh, this is kind of interesting. We were looking at Alibaba for a supplier, and we found this cool supplier for Nordic style, coffee mugs. What I always like to do to get like future ideas, and this is something that, is important for everybody to understand, like product research is an ongoing thing. Like it should never stop. You're never only going to sell one product on Amazon. You're hopefully going to sell more. Maybe you'll expand your brand, but regardless, you never know when something really cool might come across your plate. So you should always be looking. All right. So what I do, let's just say I'm like, you know what, I got a quote from the supplier for these coffee mugs or whatever the case is. What I like to do is I'll go to their factory, and I click that on Alibaba, and then let's just take a look here. There's it looks like they make porcelain stuff. So just looking at other things that they make, and then usually they have like categories here, like on their website. So let's just say serveware. I'm just going to pick something. Let's pick a butter dish. Let's see if they have any butter dishes here. All right. So here, so now, like, I'm searching for, or I'm trying to source coffee mugs, but I'm looking at other things that this factory has. And now this might seem interesting. So like, maybe I'm like wondering, like, are there special kinds of butter dishes that are popular on Amazon? Well, without even leaving Alibaba, I could start, I hit the Helium 10 Chrome extension, and I can hit the demand analyzer. All right. And then, so I'll just type that in, butter dish. Like that's actually something I never thought, to buy. Like I just keep my butter in like the plastic or paper container, and it's in my refrigerator. I don't have dishes. But then look at this, guys. That shows you how much I know. Butter dish has 148,000 search volume on Amazon. All right. And then, so that's probably something that's too saturated, I would think. But look, what I would do is I would look at some of these longer tail keywords, like a butter dish with lid and knife. Like, what in the world? You're like, why would you necessarily eat that? Like, for somebody like me who's not very sophisticated when I eat, like that doesn't make any sense. But that has like 4,000 searches. So what I can start doing is I can just start going down these rabbit trails. And if I want to, I could just go to Amazon and just start typing out, what some of these butter dish with lid. I saw that there's like, 4,000 search volume for this. And then look already. I'm pretty sure I actually saw a couple of these on here. There's the top products that it was showing me, but look on this website here. Like, yeah, this looks like a very similar one. Here's the butter dish with looks like a knife or a spread. And then I can see it on here. Very, very similar product, $17, $18. Whether this is an opportunity or not, I'm not saying that, hey, like, let's all get out and do butter dishes, right? But within 30 seconds here, or 60 seconds, I was able to find another potential niche by doing kind of like reverse, product research. All right. So sometimes people think, hey, once I get to Alibaba, that is the end of the journey for me. I found my supplier. Let's just go fully and concentrate on sourcing the product and sourcing it, getting it over here. But no, you should always be looking for opportunity in non-traditional ways. So whether you're on Alibaba, whether you're on a Shopify website, you can actually use the Helium 10 Chrome extension. It's called Demand Analyzer. If you have an idea, just look on that page, type it in, whatever is the keyword that it's searching, and then you can find what is going on Amazon for that keyword and maybe some other potential long tail keywords. All right. So actually, there's like
it's interesting point that this extension was working on non-Amazon website. This is something new for me. I didn't know that your extension can be popped up on any website. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. We want, because that's one thing that I think people should get out of their mindset, whereas I can only do Amazon product research on Amazon or inside of Helium 10 or something. No, there's all kinds of different ways. And you might be on another website and without having to open up Helium 10 or something, you want to get some quick information on it. You should do that. So guys, take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. Another way, this one has to do with Helium 10, but it's you start on Helium 10 and you're looking actually on another website for random ideas. Now, this one is a little bit like a longer process, but this is the method that I like to use when people are kind of stuck. like you've been maybe inside of Black Box, or you've been, which I'll show you guys in a little bit, inside of Black Box for a while, and you are kind of like, you know what, I'm just like, I can't seem to find anything. I need some fresh, completely fresh ideas. And what I'm going to show you is something that actually looks at Pinterest. Right now, this is something that we've been talking about for years, that a lot of times when you look at demand on Etsy and Pinterest, you are going to see products that might be trending months before they get trending on Amazon. And the reason it's important to understand is the process that products take. So like, let's say you and I were going to start our own Amazon company, or we already have an Amazon company, and we see something that's trending right now. How long, if we do the traditional thing, like we manufacture India or China or something like that, from the moment you and I find a product opportunity, how long until that product probably is for sale on Amazon, would you say?
I would say half a year, roughly.
That's a pretty
Yeah.
reasonable, 5-6 months. All right. It takes time to get samples, and we gotta, manufacture it, and then we gotta, ship it and get it to Amazon and have Amazon distribute it. Yeah, a good half year. Now, there's websites in America, and different countries have different ones. Like I'm sure they have very similar ones in Europe, and I know there's some in Asia. But in America, there's a website called Etsy. And Etsy is more for like people who are making their products themselves, like in their garage, or they're handmade, or they have their own little mini factory at their house or something like that, right? So, or 3D printing machines, all kinds of things like this. And so you have an idea for something that's trending, maybe within like 1 week or 2 weeks, you could actually have something for sale because you're only making it in your backyard or your garage, right? So sometimes what you see on Etsy, can be months ahead of what you see on Amazon. Then you have other websites that aren't necessarily marketplaces per se, like Pinterest. And Pinterest is for like pinning like ideas and different, like you just might see something on the internet and you're like, hey, let me take this picture and let me pin it to my like idea board or something, right? So you could have something that's trending, and within seconds it's already on Pinterest, not for sale or anything, but people are pinning it because there's no lead time, there's no getting suppliers and things like that. So sometimes if you look at these other websites for inspiration, you can actually see things that you're not even going to see on Amazon. So let me just show you one of the ways where you can just start the process, and like maybe 90% of the time that you look for something, it might not be something that, instantly is a product idea, but at least it gets the creative juices flowing. Let me show you guys how to do that here. All right, so I'm going to go, for any of you guys who have Helium 10, it's on the regular dashboard, and then you just scroll down here, and then there's this kind of like a spin the wheel, right? So what we have done is we take like the top a few thousand keywords that have search volume increases over the last few months at some time on Pinterest. There's something that Pinterest makes open called Pinterest Trends, and I'll show you guys how to use that. So even if you don't have Helium 10, there's like a way to kind of check this out. But I'm just going to spin the wheel here and just see what comes up. Like skater aesthetic. All right. So that means that people are looking for things that have to do with skaters. I'm probably going to click this like 10-15 times before I find something I want to deep dive. This, I don't know what this is, like a meme or something, I could maybe make stickers for this. There's different ideas I can do. Drawing, inspiration. What else do we have here? Natural blonde hair. There's a lot of stuff in the hair, industry that, possibly could be done. The stuff that I definitely would skip is like, hey, stuff that's like, video game related, or there's going to be a lot of celebrity things that are related. But basically what you want to keep doing is you want to just get inspiration to see what's trending overall on Pinterest. And that by itself might give you an idea. But usually I'll find something interesting. Like, what? Elephant tattoos. Like, I know like non-permanent tattoos is kind of popular, but that's just not me. Anime characters, this is always popular. My vibe, what does that mean? I'm not even sure. I don't even know who this guy is. But cyberpunk edge runners. All right. So like, for example, like cyberpunk is always something that is just a kind of like a general theme that people might be interested in. Real estate quotes, like for the people who are just starting off, on Amazon. Maybe they don't have enough, they don't have like enough money to get a private label product. Well, something I always suggest doing that people could do is either things like Merch by Amazon, which some of these have an idea. It's where you can actually get an idea for a shirt or something, and then you send the design to Amazon and you don't invest anything, but then Amazon will sell your shirt at no cost, at no inventory cost to you. Another thing on Amazon you can do is like KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, where you can have like, print like books and things like that. Again, where you don't have to invest anything. And sometimes whenever you see something that's like quotes or recipes, that's a potential that you could do for, Kindle Direct Publishing for those of you who want to get started that way. What else do we have here? Real estate quotes, snake. So a lot of tattoos. You see, so tattoos are something that is getting popular. So then I would try and go ahead and figure out what kind of temporary tattoos, what kind of what the market is there. Taylor Swift wallpaper. That's what Augustus was trying to find the other day. Taylor Swift wallpaper. There's some cartoons here. But you just keep scrolling through here, and then you look for like general ones too, like baby boy outfits, right? So let's just say I want to look at this one, right? Maybe I'm in the clothing niche. I'm going to open it up, this trend, Pinterest trends. It's actually at trends.pinterest.com. And then, the reason why it's showing up here is you can see this jump all of a sudden within like the last few weeks of about, looks like 20%, 15-20% of the search volume. All right. And I could look at the demographics, and then all of a sudden I could see what are the related trends. And what these are most likely keywords that if they're not popular already on Amazon, they're going to get popular. Newborn outfits boy, baby boy fashion. And then I'll take note of what people are searching for. But then I'll take note here of some of these, just what I see here, popular pins. I could go on it, but I just see here oversized hoodie for babies. That could be a trend. Beanie, what do you call these? Like beanies, I guess you could say, beanie hats. You could see that in multiple ones. But the point of this is you first start with an idea that is trending on Pinterest, and it might not be necessarily an exact product because Pinterest is not a marketplace, but you see that, hey, baby boy fashion seems to be trendy. Well, then now you go look what kind of baby boy fashion is trending. And I guarantee you, once you start going down these rabbit trails, you're going to find like sub niches that are all of a sudden exploding, out there in the world, but are not yet on Amazon. Now, this is where it gets a little harder to kind of like validate demand, because as you can see here, we're not really using Helium 10 or anything like that, because these, by definition, a lot of these things are not even on Helium 10 yet. So this is where, you guys have to be a little bit more careful. You can't really go and see, hey, who's crushing it on Amazon and what kind of keyword strategy they use. A lot of these things, you're going to be one of the first ones, but you do have some validation that there is demand on these other websites. Now in Europe, is there a Pinterest in Europe or similar website for people in those marketplaces?
I think people are using just the same Pinterest in English, probably. Like I haven't seen like localized Pinterest. Also, okay, I'm not a woman, like majority are women.
Yeah, I'm not exactly looking at some of these here too. I'm also not looking at tattoos and things like that. But that's an interesting point. Like something I always talk about is we can't always try and just focus ourselves on products that we are familiar with or that we know. There's a lot of stuff that we had no idea was trending or we didn't know people are interested in, be it tattoos, be it babies, fashionable clothing. But if the demand is there, well, maybe we don't know too much about it, but we better go educate ourselves about that niche, because if that's where the demand is, we've got to get into it. All right, let's talk now about some more traditional ways of finding products. And one of those ways is by using Blackbox. Now, Blackbox is a tool in Helium 10 that works for many different marketplaces. It goes for US, Canada, Mexico, Germany, Australia, and the list goes on and on of the different marketplaces. I'm going to be just sticking here in the United States. And the important thing is we want to kind of look for indications of demand, but also indications of lack of competition. So one thing that I like to do is, do you have any categories you want me to look at, Gus's, like on Amazon?
Categories, travel, or for example, cinematography.
Travel. Okay, well, let's see. What would travel be under? What's the main category that you think that those things would come under? Cinematography is actually pretty good. I want to get my lighting as good as your lighting in your your office there. Let's see. Maybe sports and outdoors. There could be something. And cinematography, industrial, maybe, and scientific. Who knows? And we'll just throw home and kitchen. Maybe there might be something there. All right. So let's just look at these categories. And then, like I said, we always have to look for existing demand. All right. So demand on Amazon is easily able to be found with tools like Helium 10 because we can see if they're making sales or not. So I'm going to say, hey, monthly revenue at least $5,000. Because hey, if there is no demand for a product, why would it be selling $5,000 a month? I like putting, price ranges in here. There's no magic number. I'm just going to throw $15 and $40 because it's like, hey, if there's an $8 product on Amazon, profit margin is probably very slim. At the same time, maybe if there's a $100 product doing well, I might not be able to afford that, because that means I would have to pay like $20,000, $30,000 just to get that product off the ground. So if you have that kind of money, I would put minimum price $40 here because I would know I'm pricing myself away from what a lot of the other competitors can afford. All right, what else do I want to look at? As you guys can see, there's tons of different filters. So I'm going to do max number of sellers too. I don't want to see something that has like maybe 10 or 15 different sellers per se, because that means that this product is probably a wholesale or arbitrage product. Another thing, and I might have to lessen these because I'm doing a lot of different filters. This might make it too narrow. But I'm going to do review count, maybe max 125. So usually if things are very saturated, one of the indications of that is everybody has thousands of reviews. But again, so if I can see something maybe has 50 or 75 reviews, but it's still selling $5,000, well, that could be an indication that the market there is not yet, they probably don't all have thousands of reviews. The other thing I'll look at is number of images. Let's go max 4. If I can find some poorly optimized listings, usually if I find something that only has 2 images, the rest of the listing is not good. And if the whole listing is bad and they're still selling $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a month, again, that's an indication that there could be underperforming competition, meaning that, why? I mean, like if there was a product or a niche with tons and tons of amazing optimized listings, why would anybody buy a listing that's really bad and only has 2 images? Well, they wouldn't, unless that product was so unique, right? Or unless everybody had bad images, that's another reason that it could come out. All right, so let's go ahead and see it. And actually, this was a little bit too broad. It looks like. Oh, you know what? I think I want to do the filter or the variations. I only want. Let's see if that narrows it down. The reason I like doing a max variation of 1 is for newer products. I don't want to start off right away with a product I have to buy red, blue, green, yellow, or extra small, large. Like that's more investment for me, and it's kind of hard to prepare if I'm a newer seller. So let's just take a look here. We have a lot in the sports and outdoor, a lot of like NCAA. Do you know what NCAA means? You're from Europe, so you might not know right off the bat.
No, have no idea.
All right, so NCAA is like that means I don't know what it stands for, but it basically means it's a college. So you know what? I don't want anything that has to do with college. So if I see something that comes up a lot in search results, right off the bat, I'm just going to take away from the title here. Let's take away NCAA.
Okay,
right?
So you're excluding the words.
I'm excluding the title word. And let's see what we got here. Okay, so we can take a look here at, there's like a lot of, there's still some Christmas things that are, have 30-day sales pretty high. But what I'm doing is I'm just looking for interesting ideas here. There's still some Lionel Messi things that are trending. Obviously, we can't do something that that has somebody's name.
Why we cannot do that? Can you explain?
Like they technically they could sue us, I believe. Like people own their own likeness. I think the only thing, it's actually a good question, the only thing that in America you can use somebody's likeness is like if they are like a political figure or president or something like that, like
public servant,
actually use them. Yeah, it kind of doesn't kind of doesn't make sense, but hey, it is what it is. I see just kind of like maybe a joke kind of product here. Let's just take a look at that one, and let's see. Tennis elbow therapy bar. I have no idea what that means. We'll take a look at that, and then let's go all the way to page 20. And see
it's a perfect moment to say that that there are so many product opportunities, because you say, I like when you say, oh, I have no idea what it is. And I know that you did this kind of videos probably hundreds of times, and you search random products and you still like find some ideas, which, and
absolutely.
Yeah, by the way, I wanted to remind that there is a link to Helium 10 to use this tool, which Bradley is showing. Helium 10's black box. You can access it with the links below in the description. Also, you'll find some coupon codes to get a discount when you sign up, and of course like and subscribe if you enjoy Bradley's lesson here.
All right, so here if you remember, what was the criteria that I put in? Well, I put in that I'm looking for something that's selling a certain amount and has indications that the rest of the listing might not be great, or that that the seller doesn't do much. And so here, this item here is selling over 500 units a month. All right, so 10 to 20 items a day. And sure enough, only 4 images, like their number 1 and number 2 image is the exact same. So like I said, it's usually an indication that the seller doesn't know what they're doing. Look at this. Their number 3 image is like a maybe 1965 camera they're using, or a cell phone camera to do it. They put some Microsoft PowerPoint bullet points on their image. Not great. Bullet points not good. Selling 500 units. So the next question I would have is, okay, I know that this is selling 500 units a month, but like what possibly are some of the main keywords that are driving sales? Well, in the old days, I would say, hey, take this, go to Cerebro and this and that. You don't have to do that anymore. Right here on the page, there's a button that I want people to use. And let me switch my Chrome extension here. Project X-ray keywords. All right. So use X-ray keywords, and this will tell you the top keywords for this product, the ones where it's ranking the highest from, where it's probably getting the the most sales from. And right off the bat, room decor for men. I could see how this could be something that people would get for guests. Stoner room decor, very interesting there. Signs for bedroom, Playboy room decor, all kinds of keywords here that are driving the sales. And so what I would do then is like, okay, if this is really if I really want to compete here, I have to make sure that on these keywords too, I could have, I could compete. And so what I would do is I would just click from there, and then I would just, scan the niche here at how competitive I could be. All right. So that there's within seconds, we were able to find this product that, does not have that much competition. This other one here, tennis elbow therapy. Are you a tennis player yourself?
Oh, no, I'm not a sport.
With your height, you should be a basketball player, but I don't think you play basketball.
No, Lithuania, my home country, is like basketball players kind of, but no, I'm not.
Well, if I don't play tennis either, but I guess if we play tennis, I might be looking for a product like this. But again, remember what I said, just by looking at the number of images so many times, it can like tell you how good of an Amazon seller they are. And this is terrible images. Again, not only is it only 4 images, it's all the same. So same thing. How is it doing? It's selling over 500 units a month. Very few reviews, only 47. So, what are the keywords that this is getting sales for, again, I would just hit X-ray keywords, and I could see here that I'm assuming tennis elbow therapy bar is one, but it's not even here. So flex bar, all right? So flex bar for physical therapy. I open that up. There's the product right there. Very position number 1 or position number 3, organic, position number 1, sponsored. And then I would just take a look at this market. Hey, can I compete here? And there's signs that are good. Look, amongst the first 5 organic results, 2 of them have less than 100 reviews. So there could be opportunity there. What's the other one that I looked at? Another completely bare listing. This person only has 1 image, and they're selling almost 200 units a month, and they only have 1 image. And look at their bullet points, almost non-existent here, like only a few words each. All right. So same thing again, I would go through that process. So this is probably the oldest form of doing product research, is looking through black box products. I'll show you guys one more method here. But this is probably the oldest form of this, and still it works, as you guys can see. You know, like Helium 10 wasn't even the one who came up with this. The tools that have been out there longer than us have been doing this kind of product research since like 2014, 2015. And this still works. All right, guys. So yes, in 2023, even using older methods of product research, you can still find opportunity. Now, for me, my number 1 go-to method for product research is still, instead of going to the product first, I go to the keyword first. All right. And so on a keyword, what indicates demand is usually like search volume. So I'm going to say minimum 3,000 search volume. Let's just go to maximum 10,000. Maybe I'll look into some categories, you know, kitchen and dining, and let's just look at home and kitchen things. Now, I'm not going to show you guys this today. I'm just going to show you something more basic, but my favorite filters here are the competitor revenue and competitor reviews. And this is a very little known filter that what people are looking at for this, or what Helium 10 is looking at, is looking at it's laser focused on the top 10 products that you see on the search result page. So for example, if I were to say, hey, show me something that has 3,000 search volume, and then I would say that has more than $5,000 revenue, minimum 5, basically what I would be saying is, of the top 10 products that show up on those search results, at least 5 of them has over 5,000 revenue. And then at the same time, let's say less than 75 reviews, I could say minimum 6. And basically that would be saying, hey, at least 6 out of the top 10 results on that page have less than 75 reviews or less than 100 reviews, something like that. And really you can, like, I mean, I could use that all day and find opportunity all day, because that really shows me a good state of the competition. But in this exercise, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a keyword that has at least, let's just say, 2 words. And if I'm just looking at the average number or the average price on page 1, it's between, let's just go up to $50, and average reviews maybe less than 150. But then here is something that I think a lot of people don't use, and it's called title density. So basically this means, of the search results, how many listings have the exact searched phrase in the title in phrase form. All right. And I got logged out here. All right, let's log back in.
While Bradley is sorting out the access to Helium 10's tool, I wanted to remind everyone that check the link below for Helium 10, and you will get a few discounts if you will decide to join Helium 10's subscription. If you are using Helium 10 already, check this video until the end as well, because I'm sure you can always hear something new from Bradley, some maybe new feature which you didn't know about in Helium 10, which you can use to improve your product research or anything else you do on Amazon. And actually, we will also point here to other video where we have more information about, actually it's a playlist to different videos about Helium 10. So check this out as well. And if you like, enjoy, click like below. So I see Bradley is back on the...
I am back.
tool.
I'm logged into my own Helium 10 account that other people can't get into. So that was logged into the Project X. And as you can imagine, everybody in Helium 10 is trying to log into the Project X account to do things. All right. So now here, these are keywords that have those indications. All right. So, we have Valentine's Day coming up here. Depending on the year, there's always different holidays, I think, that are really great. So let's just say I didn't want to do a Valentine's Day product. The same thing. I would take away the word Valentine's. So Valentine's, let's just take away that one. Exclude keywords. Valentine's. Let's search again. All right. So let's take a look here. Avatar poster. This is what I love. Helium 10 does not filter for what is legal and not legal on Amazon. Anybody enters a keyword in Amazon, we're going to pick up the search volume and we're going to know that it's a search thing. But just because you see it in Helium 10, I don't want people telling me, hey, Helium 10 said that we need to make a marijuana weed grinder and I got suspended on Amazon. No, we're just showing you the data of what people are searching for here, guys. Let's see. Shower eucalyptus hanging. All right. So I can understand why this is kind of not correct grammar of that's why nobody has in their title. But let's just say that this was something correct that you would put in your title. In this niche, the fact that it is searched for, let me see, how many times is it searched for? 8,000 times a month. And what was the title density? Title density was 1. There is only one person on page 1 that has the exact phrase. What that means is if I made a product like this, and I don't know why people would put this in their shower, but whatever. If I made a product like this and I had that keyword in my title and I was only the second one, almost on day 2 or day 1 of me opening up this product, I could be on page 1 without even one sale or anything. If it was maybe 3 or 4 title density, that basically means that, it'll only take me a couple days to get to page 1. It's so easy and cheap to get to page 1 of keywords that have a low title density. So that's like a new-ish feature that we have where you can kind of from day 1 see how difficult it might be to get on page 1. But the fact that there's keywords out there that don't have a lot of people that have in the title, that also is an indication. It's not just, oh, this is going to be easy to get to page 1, but it's an indication that it's a newer niche and that it's less competition. Because like if you were to look at collagen peptides or garlic press or something like that, the title density would be 40 or 45, meaning that of the 50 items on page 1, 40 of them all have that same exact keyword in the title. And usually that's a sign that it's saturated. So we only scratched the surface here, guys. We looked on Amazon, we looked off Amazon, we were on Alibaba, we're talking about Pinterest, and there's probably 13 other ways to find product opportunity inside of Helium 10, off of Helium 10, on Amazon, off Amazon. The point is that it is absolutely not too late to find product opportunity. It could be 2023. You could be watching this video in 2024. And, there's definitely ways to find product opportunity then. So just make sure that you guys are searching the right places and have the right mindset. And I guarantee you'll find something.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Bradley, of this, to show the way how you should think of product research. It's not like just opening Helium 10, you need an account and, okay, I have to add the keywords and look at the numbers, but yeah, just to be creative. And I really liked actually that Chrome extension pop-ups on any website. So it's like if I'm browsing, I'm like looking at the news portal and they're talking about something and then I get an idea, I can quickly just double check the numbers. It's nice. Perfect. Thank you very much, Bradley. And yeah, see you soon.
All right. Thank you for having me. We'll see you later.
I hope you got some good ideas how you can find products on your own using different thinking methods, different ways, not only Helium 10 directly. And actually, if you want to check for Helium 10, what they do and what they offer, check the link below. Also, you'll find coupon codes in the description, which will give you 10% off lifetime monthly or 20% for the first 6 months. And now I would like to invite you to watch next video about Helium 10, where you will learn how to use advanced filters when doing your keyword research inside the magnet tool of Helium 10. Check this out. TikTok, TikTok.